Good afternoon. I'm going to tell you a story today, and it's a story that happens about 4 million times a day in Australia, or about 1.5 billion times a year. Okay, and it's the story of about how our food, our fresh food, actually gets to us. And what I've realized, a lot of people don't understand it, and there's an inherent systemic problem with how our food gets to us that creates waste and all the other things. It starts on the far left there, a grower. Let's say I'm an avocado grower, and I picked this perfect avocado. I've put my heart and soul, I've got the tree, the weather and everything else. As soon as I pick that avocado, it's on its way to you. And that avocado has a thing called senescence. It's designed to die. It's designed to die and rot. And at some point in that dying and rotting profile, it tastes delicious. And that's what we want as consumers. When I pick that avocado, there's a strong chance I don't know who's going to sell that avocado down the chain. I probably don't know where it's going. I almost certainly don't know which store it's going to end up in. And I can guarantee you I don't know which one of you is going to buy it. Okay? So in mathematical terms, I've got a problem. I've got a many-to-many relationship. I might sell it to packer A, I might sell it to packer B. That packer then has the same thing. He might sell it to retailer A, he might sell it to retailer B, and he's got a many-to-many relationship as well. And he doesn't know where it's going to go. And then there are thousands of outlets, be it big retailers, be it market stalls, and so on. And then eventually you, the consumer, go in and you want your avocado, and it's Taco Tuesday, and you pick one up. What's unique about food and food supply chains is the supply chain actually changes the nature of the food. If I order a pair of jeans and I move it on a ship, it's still a pair of jeans when it gets here. An avocado, if I hold it for 6 months, is not an avocado at the end. So what does it mean for us? What does that really happen? So here's what happens. That top line tells you what we think happens. Well, I pick it on here and I've planned it out. It takes 4 days and I move it, I move it, I move it. It should have 4 days when you take it off the shelf. And this is just avocados, grapes, it works for steak and meat and God knows what else. What really happens is maybe I spike in temperature. Maybe I sit in a warehouse too long. Maybe I didn't do the right thing in the right place. So actually when I pick it up, I get really bad avocado. And then tomorrow it happens again, and this time it's different again. So all these journeys are different, all these journeys are unique, and it impacts you and the food that you buy. And what that means is it's not consistent. You don't get a consistent experience. We've all done it. Today the strawberries are perfect. Tomorrow they're absolutely dreadful. Tomorrow they're different again. That changes us, that changes how we buy, that changes the retailers and so on, and how that value moves down the chain. That's the core problem. So what do we start doing? How do we start talking about that? And what we're going to do is we're going to think about the food, right? So what we do, Escavox, and we've just had the, how do you pronounce this, is a brutal Latin translation, the food, its voice. So we don't talk about the suppliers, we don't talk about the retailers, we talk about the food. We're here to track the food and its journey. Because if you treat the food, which most people would call inventory, if you treat the food like an asset, which is what it really is, you look at what's going on. How old are you? How hot are you? How cold are you? Where did you wait? Where didn't you go? Where were you grown? Now I can start looking at that. I can talk and predict value changes. When I can talk and predict value changes, I can share information with people that are custodians of me, that move me, that potentially own me. And now I can change the dynamic of how I manage the commercials within my supply chain. So not only do I give you, the consumer, the food, and most importantly, the only guy putting money into the supply chain, a much better value proposition. Your Taco Tuesday is now reliable, consistent, and you know what's going to happen. But I give me and the producers and the packers and the suppliers a way to actually manage it. We often talk, when we talk to our clients, the old adage of what gets measured gets managed, right? So if you can start seeing this data, away you go. So how do we do it? We combine some pretty cool software, and we've got various unique models on how we take all this data, we combine it, and we make logical assumptions from it. We use some really advanced IoT technology. We build our own to start with as we wait for the industry to catch up with us, as we look for various things. And we put it together with quite a smart commercial model. And what you've got to do is you've got to pin all of that together to make something effective. It's not about the best device, it's not about the best software, it's about the best outcome for that food. So we talk about the food. How big's the market? Let's face it, everyone's talking about food. Food safety, food procurement, consistency of food, food waste. That 10 billion is just what we as consumers throw away. There's another 10 billion we throw away before it gets to you. Look at that, consistent quality. How do we as Australia feed the world? That's what we're looking to do. What have we done? Where are we going? We're 12 months into our journey. And the way that you get traction is by solving a problem. We're working with some big blue chip players, and we're starting to deliver value. We're following the money, and we're changing how they manage their supply chains. and we're adapting technology, service, capability, and we're evolving as they develop their fresh food supply chains.